Hello students, welcome to the class of digital communication. Today we are going to start the concepts of random variable and random process, right? And actually we want to see what is the role of random variable and random process in the digital communication, right? So in this section we are going to learn basically the concept of probability and what is the definition of random variable and what is random process, right? These three are our main objectives. So we build our concepts and we build our study around these three pillars. Okay, so now there are few important insights. First we should see those things before going into the detail of random variables and random process. The question is what that why we study random variable or random process, right? Means we want to know what is the role of random variable and random process into the digital communication, right? So the important thing is what actually we know that whenever we are transmitting the information from transmitter to receiver, we can say that we are sending some signals, right? We are sending some signals, and if we study signal, then we can have basically two types of signal. One type of signal can be deterministic for us, right? Deterministic for us. Deterministic means the signal which is predictable, right? The signal which is predictable, or you can say that the value, the signal whose value at any instant can be determined with the help of analytical or graphical description, right? Means the signal which can be analyzed, which can be analyzed at any time t, at any time t, with the help of graphical or analytical description, right? Analytical description. Such signals can be treated as deterministic signals. Means these signals are basically predictable signals, right? But now the second type of signal can be named as undeterministic signal. Undeterministic signals means the signal which are not predictable. Means you can say these signals are non predictable, right? So what is the important thing why we are studying this? Because we should know that whenever we are saying that we want to transmit some information, right? Means the information can be transmitted only with the help of these non-predictable signals or these undeterministic signals. Why? Because the deterministic signals cannot contain any information. Information is always be with some undeterministic signal, or you can say that information will always related to uncertainty, right? This concept will also see when we'll start the concepts of information theory and coding, right? So when we study the information theory, then we'll see that the information content will always be high, or information is always related to the uncertainty or randomness, right? Again, I am repeating that information is always related to uncertainty or randomness of the signal, right? So it means that with the help of deterministic signal, we cannot transmit the information. If we want to transmit the information, we should use the randomness of the signal, right? This is the important concept for us, right? So now this is very clear to us that if we want to transmit the information, we have to take we have to take the help of non-predictable signals or we can say that, or we also can say that random signals. And more interestingly, you should know that the noise which is available in our communication system, we normally say that noise is the signal which occur into the channel, right, whenever we are transmitting information. So noise is always treated as a random signal. Noise is always treated as a random signal. So our information is also a random signal, as well as noise is also a random signal. So ultimately you can say that the whole communication process means the process in which you are transferring the information from transmitter to receiver. This process is basically a random process. This process is basically a random process, because in this process the information as well as noise both are the random signals which are involved in whole communication from transmitter to receiver, right? So we can summarize that this whole thing is basically random. So this is a random process. So whenever we want to study the communication from transmitter to receiver, we should see this transfer as a random process, right? As a random process. And definitely, if we want to study the random process, we have to take the help of some concepts of random variable, the concepts of random variable, and as well as the concept of probability, okay? As well as the concept of probability, because the study of random process can be done with the help of, or with the basics of, or with the knowledge of the basics of concept of probability or the concept of random variable, right? So this is the reason why we have to study the probability, some basic concepts of probability, as well as we have to study what is random variable, because if we want to study the communication from transmitter to receiver, we should know these fundamental concepts, because this whole process of communication can be summarized as a random process, right? So this is the basic thing which we should know, why we should study probability, or why we should study some random variable or random signal whenever we are studying digital communication, right? So I hope you this point is clear to you. Now we are coming to the next concept of probability, right? We know that this is a very simple concept, and we have already studied lot many things about probability in 12th class as well as in your graduate courses. But here we'll see a fast review or preview of these fundamentals, so that whenever we study the concepts of random processes and random variables, then there should not be any problem with us. So here we should summarize the definition of uh, probability. So we know that uh, what is the meaning of probability actually. Probability is very much related to a term which is known as experiment. So what is happening here, basically we perform an experiment and we get some outcomes. So the probability is the mathematics which can tell us that what is the possibility of a particular outcome to occur, right? Because if we say that we are doing certain experiment, right, if we are doing certain experiment, for example this experiment is E, then we can have different possible outcomes. For example, phi 1, phi 2 dash dash, we can have phi k. Yeah, we can have phi k possible outcomes. So these are possible outcomes: outcome number 1, outcome number 2 dash dash, outcome number k, right? So what we can calculate with the help of this probability theory, we can calculate the possibilities of these outcomes to occur, right? We can find out that what is the possibility that outcome 1 will be the final decision, or what is the possibility that outcome 2 will be final decision, and dash dash for any probable outcome, right? So this is the probability, use of probability, right? Why we want to study probability? Because probability can tell us that what is the possibility of any outcome to occur, right? And this is a very important concept. This will become a very important concept in the communication theory. You have already seen lot many examples like tossing a coin, rolling a die, or is drawing a card from a deck, right? You can say that, for example, if you are tossing a coin, right? So this is experiment that you are tossing a coin. This is experiment, and what are the possible outcomes? Possible outcomes are either head or tail. Means whenever you toss a coin, there are only two possibilities, right? Either head will occur or tail will occur. So what is the probability? So probability can be a mathematical tool to find out that what is the possibility of to occur this outcome, that is head will occur on the face of coin, right? So you can see that this is the probability of half. Similarly here, the probability of tail to occur is again half. So this is the mathematics of probability, right? This probability can tell us that there are 50-50% chances to have head or tail as outcome of this experiment, right? So this is the basic fundamental of probability. So to know something more about probability, we can also relate the probability with the help of set theory, and we know that in a set theory, if we are talking about set theory, then then this experiment can be this experiment can be named as sample space. This experiment can be named as sample space, right? And it can be denoted by, for example, capital S. Then this is a sample space, or this is an experiment, and it contains all the possible outcomes, right? So those possible outcomes can be named as elements. Those possible outcomes can be named as elements, right? So for example, here we can say that zeta 1, zeta 2, zeta 3, dash dash, zeta k. These are the possible outcomes. So in set theory, you can say that this is an element. This is an element. So the combination of elements can be the full sample space, right? Full sample space as an element, or in other words, it can also be named as sample point. It can also be named as sample point. So whatever the name you can take, either element or sample point. So the collection of all these sample points or the collection of all these elements will create a whole sample space, right? Whole sample space. And now with the help of a probability theory, what you can do, you can calculate the probability to occur zeta 1, or probability to occur zeta 2, or dash dash probability to occur zeta 3, right? So this is uh, the nomenclature which we can use in the study of probability, as well as if we want to calculate the probability, then the concept which is very popular, which we can use, is the concept of relative frequency. So for example, if there is any event A, if there is any event A, and the total possible ways to occur this event is basically n. The total possible ways to occur event A is, for example, Na, right? For example, Na, and the total number of ways, or the total number of trials, are capital N. Then the probability for this event A can be simply written as the favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. So this is the concept of relative frequency, and this is a very popular concept. We all know, we have studied these things in the 12th class. So we can find out the favorable number of ways, and then we can divide that favorable number of ways by total number of ways, and we can calculate the probability of that particular event, right? So here I have mentioned the probability by FA. You can also mention the probability by PA, and this is a popular convention, right? So you can also say that probability of A can be simply written as NA by capital N, right? This is the probability. This is the probability of any event A, right? And we have also solved lot many examples for this, right? So I'm not going to those examples because we have already done many examples in the 12th class. Now we are going to revise the next concept of probability, that is the conditional probability, right? That is the conditional probability. So what is conditional probability? Conditional probability. Right? So what is conditional probability? For example, if we are having event A and event B, and now if you want to calculate the probability of event A given event B, or we want to calculate probability of event B given A, then these two probabilities can be named as conditional probability, right? because this is the case, or this is a scenario where the probability of A is depending on the event B. Similarly, the probability of B is depending on the event A, right? You can have many examples for this. For example, if you are having if you are considering that you are drawing two cards in a succession, right? You are drawing two cards in a succession, and for example, let A is the event, that first card which you are drawn is an ace. Then we do not replace this card which we have drawn in the first trial. Then let B denote the event that second card drawn will also be ace, right? It is evident that the probability of drawing an ace in the second trial will be influenced by the outcome of the first draw, right? because uh, if in the first trial we have already drawn an ace, then number of ace cards will get reduced. So the probability of means the probability of second event, if you want to withdraw a second card which is again an ace, so the probability of this card will definitely affect. Why? Because the total number of ways or favorable number of ways will decrease. So you can have many examples where you can find out a certain event is depending on the other event, right? So in such cases, we cannot calculate the absolute probability. We have to calculate the conditional probability. So how we can denote the conditional probability? Conditional probability can be simply given as P event A by B or P event B by A. So what is the meaning of this PA by B? It is probability of A given B, right? Here B event is given and you are going to find out the probability of A. So B is already occurred. P A by B is given as probability of event A given B, right? It means that B is already occurred and you want to find out the probability of A. Similarly, if we are saying probability of B by A, it means that we want to calculate the probability of B and event A has already occurred, right? So this is the meaning of conditional probability. And there are some examples or theories, concepts related to uh, these conditional probability, and they are important for us also, so we should have a look on it. For example, the probability of A intersection B is defined as probability of A into probability of B by A, right? So this is the concept. So here, for example, you can calculate the probability of B by A can be simply written as the probability of A intersection B divided by the probability of A, right? And similarly, the probability, with the help of this formula, we can write down the probability of A by B. It can be written as probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B, right? So these are the basically situations which can be defined as Bayes rule. So we have to use these two formulas in certain examples. So we should know these formulas. PB by A is basically P into A intersection B divided by PA, and PA by B is equal to PA intersection B divided by PB. Right? And now we should also know that if A and B are both are the independent events, then we are having certain changes in these formulas, and what I should written here. For example, we should know this condition: if event A and event B are independent to each other, it means that both are not depending to each other. A is free to B and B is free to A, right? Both are not having any influence on each other. In that case, this PA intersection B can be represented as probability of A into probability of B, right? And if you are putting this formula into this relationship, then you can simply find out that this will become absolute probability. Basically, conditional probability will become absolute probability because A and B both are independent events. So, what is the meaning of conditional probability? Now, similarly, if we are saying that So simply what we can say here, we can simply say here that P B by A can be equal to simply PB, and PA by B can be equal to simply PA. So conditional probability is equal to the absolute probability, exact probability, right? Now there is no meaning to conditional probability. Why? Because both the events are independent to each other. Any one event is not depending to any other event, right? So this is P by A or PA by B equal to PB or PA. Similarly, the one more thing we should know that there are big difference between sometimes people get confused between mutually exclusive and independent events, right? There are two situations in probability which are very popular. Sometimes we are saying that some events are mutually exclusive, and sometimes we are saying that events are independent to each other. So when events are independent to each other, we have already seen that P A intersection B will nothing but the simply multiplication of PA into PB, right? And whenever we are talking, the events are mutually exclusive, right? It means what? It means that their intersection is basically empty, right? So if two events are mutually exclusive, if these events are mutually exclusive, then PA intersection B will equal to 0, right? It will equal to 0. This is very important. So it means that the A and B cannot occur at the same time. What is the meaning of mutually exclusive? That their intersection is 0. So these two events cannot occur at the same time. Means whenever the event A is happening, there will not be existence of event B, and whenever the event B will has to happen, then there should not be the importance of event A. So what is the meaning of this P intersection B is equal to 0? It means that event A and event B cannot occur at the same time, right? So there is a big difference between independent events and mutually exclusive events. Whenever the events are mutually exclusive, it means that PA intersection B is equal to 0. It means that both the events cannot occur at the same time. Similarly, when we are saying that events are independent, it means that PA intersection B is equal to PA into PB. So these things are very important. So what we can say here, we can say that we have seen the some basic things, basic definition related to the probability, and I am stopping here. And in the next lecture, we'll try to understand what is the random variable, and after that we will study what is random process. So basically, this lecture is giving us the fundamental or the basic block building, so that we can study the definition of random variable and random process, right? So I hope the concept of probability is now clear to you. So in the next lecture we will meet again with the concept of random variable. So till then, thank you very much.